Hare Krishna, everyone.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
Hare Krishna. Yes. So,
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So,
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
Hare Krishna. So, I'm making you co-host.
यस प्रभु जी, आई एम को होस्ट।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु।
Prabhu ji, you are making me also host, na? I'll start the bhajan.
Yes, and it's a Vaishnav bhajan, right?
Yeah, it's Krishna bhajan only.
Okay. Okay, I'm just going to make you. Okay, just making you a co-host in case it gets muted. You can unmute yourself. Yes, you can start.
And please mute everyone. No?
Seeing everyone. Yes, I have muted everyone.
यू अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ माता जी।
Yes, you have to unmute yourself.
Yes, thank you. So I'm going to sing Krishna bhajan. कभी बंसी बजा रहा, कभी गैया चरा रहा, कभी बंसी बजा रहा, कभी गैया चरा रहा, ये मनमोहन लीला दिखा रहा, तो सबके मन को लुभा रहा, लीला दिखा रहा, तो सबके मन को लुभा रहा। कभी कृष्णा कभी श्यामा, कभी कृष्णा कभी श्यामा, रे मनमोहन क्या क्या कहा रहा, तो सबके मन को लुभा रहा, लीला दिखा रहा, तो सबके मन को लुभा रहा। पिता और माँ दोनों ही कंस ने कैद में डाले, पिता और माँ दोनों ही कंस ने कैद में डाले, तूने जब जन्म लिया तो खुद को कैसे बचा रहा, तो खुद को कैसे बचा रहा। कभी कृष्णा कभी श्यामा, कभी कृष्णा कभी श्यामा, रे मनमोहन क्या क्या कहा रहा, तो सबके मन को लुभा रहा, लीला दिखा रहा, तो सबके मन को लुभा रहा। मोहिनी मूरत वाले ऐसे ओ भोले भाले, मोहिनी मूरत वाले कैसे ओ भोले भाले, पूतना मारी तूने तो उसको कैसे मिटा रहा, तो उसको कैसे मिटा रहा। कभी कृष्णा कभी श्यामा, कभी कृष्णा कभी श्यामा, रे मनमोहन क्या क्या दिखा रहा, तू जाने क्या क्या कहा रहा, लीला दिखा रहा, तू सबके मन को लुभा रहा। कभी तो गेंद खिलाए, गेंद जमुना में जाए, कभी तो गेंद खिलाए, गेंद जमुना में जाए, जमुना में नाग सहस्रवन फन, तो उसको कैसे नचा रहा, तो उसको कैसे नचा रहा। कभी कृष्णा कभी श्यामा, कभी कृष्णा कभी श्यामा, रे मनमोहन क्या क्या कहा रहा, तू सबके मन को लुभा रहा, क्या क्या कहा रहा, तू सबके मन को लुभा रहा। चोरी चोरी से आना, घरों में छुप छुप जाना, चोरी चोरी से आना, घरों में छुप छुप जाना, खाना माखन मन भर के तू ग्वालों को भी खिला रहा, तू ग्वालों को भी खिला रहा। कभी कृष्णा कभी श्यामा, कभी कृष्णा कभी श्यामा रे मनमोहन, क्या क्या दिखा रहा, तो सबके मन को लुभा रहा। लीला दिखा रहा तो सबके मन को लुभा रहा। कभी श्यामा कभी कृष्णा रे मनमोहन, क्या क्या दिखा रहा, तो सबके मन को लुभा रहा। हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari
हरे
Bol.
कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
Hare Krishna, Hari Bol. Thank you so much. That was excellent. That was excellent.
हरि बोल।
Hare Krishna. Yes. Hare Krishna once again. Welcome to this 13th day where we're going to get into the last unit. This is the last unit or the section of our Bhagavad Gita 18-day course. And today is where we were going to talk about many things in terms of the nature, the enjoyer, and the consciousness, and we're going to see all those aspects today. So, Prabhu or Mataji, can you please confirm if I'm audible, if my voice is clear?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you so much. Okay, so what I'm going to do is let me quickly pull the slide up here. Share. Yes, are you people able to see the slide?
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
Okay, perfect. Right, so maybe we'll start off with our prayers, offering our prayers to the Lord, our acharyas, and everyone, and we will also seek all our Vaishnavas' blessings as well here, and then we'll take this forward for this 13th day, that is Kshetra, Kshetragya, Vibhaga Yoga. We'll see what is nature, what is enjoyer, and the consciousness that one would have on this particular topic. That is the last section of this Bhagavad Gita. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। Okay, so this will be whatever we are teaching here. It's based on the book His Divine Grace by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who's none other than the founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Right. Before we get into this, let's quickly do a quick recap in terms of what we have learned so far. Right. I'm going to unmute you all. Yes, so what did we learn yesterday in the last in the 12th chapter? Does anyone would want to comment as to what are the sections that we have learned yesterday in terms of pure bhakti or kevala bhakti?
We learned how bhakti is best, and it's a painful process whereby worshipping manifested, unmanifested forms.
Yes,
Why
very
is
good.
bhakti better? It's easy to fix the mind and engaging the senses.
Yes, very good. Thank you so much. Let's also hear from others. Very good,
Thank
Mataji. Thank you so much. Anyone else would like to contribute as well? We saw there are progressive stages as well.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
We learned out how to be unaffected by material emotions.
We learned how to be unaffected by material emotions, yeah, with the modes of dualities as well. Okay, very good. What else we learned? Good point. Any other point anyone would want to contribute?
Krishna has described the qualities of the devotees that he likes.
Yes, we learned about the qualities. Those are the most important qualities which we need to cultivate as well. Right? Today we will see in terms of how we need to cultivate them. Yes, he described the qualities. Do we remember those qualities?
Being non-envious.
Being non-envious. Yes, very good. The mode of duality is already Nikhil Prabhu has just answered. Okay, that was the second one. What else?
Sacrifice.
Yes, very good. What else?
Being kind to others, love.
Being very kind and passionate to others. Thank you so much, Sitaraman Prabhu.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. What else?
Being truthful.
Being truthful, right? Socham, cleanliness, truthful. Yes.
And
no sense of proprietorship.
No sense of proprietorship. That's the very, very important point, which we will see that today. That's a very important point, what you said, Prabhu. Thank you so much. What else?
Pure devotional service to Krishna without any fruitful result.
Pure devotional service without any fruitful results. So what exactly is pure devotional service? Let me ask someone. As you rightly mentioned, yes, pure devotional services.
Like we have to just do bhakti and whatever, like we don't have to think what will happen, whether we will meet him or like we don't have to think any result about any result. Just we have to go on, just you have to go on and on and on, that he will come to us if we are going without any motive or without any things in our mind that I will get something or I will get Hari also.
Hari bol. That's according to our, that's perfect answer according to our parampara, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu clearly states, na janam na dhanam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye, right? Mama janmani janmanishware. So he's like, I don't expect anything, na money, na wife, na whatever it is. However you want to utilize me. So it's like bhakti. You put me into the material world, I do not mind. You take me over there, I do not mind. Wherever you place me, whatever you want me to do, it is up to you. I'm just waiting for your mercy. However you want to do it. Perfect answer. I think you're already on our boat, Mataji. Who was that? Radhika Mataji?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
that's perfect answer. That is bhakti. It's like Ahitukya. It's like we are not expecting anything. I'm not doing bhakti because I want to go back to Godhead. That is the ultimate answer. That realization is a perfect realization. Yes, others would also want to contribute something.
Yeah, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna is source. Krishna is the source of everything. He is the essence of Gita. He is everywhere. And when we continue to chant Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, automatically he will come to us.
Yes, automatically we will be able to connect to him, And at the same
Yes.
time, the more we connect with him, there will be reciprocation as well. That is like pure bhakti. In pure bhakti, we do not expect anything. We are not expecting any results of fruits. I'm not doing, or I'm not bowing down to the Lord because I'm going to cleanse my sins, because I have to connect to the Lord, because my soul desires, and that's the constitutional position of my soul. That is exactly why I'm doing bhakti or connecting with the Lord. Perfect. Do we? I hope we remember those progressive stages of bhakti. If I'm not able to do this, let's do this. If I'm not able to do this, let's do this. I hope we
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, Prabhu.
If somebody cannot do bhakti yoga, he can do jnana yoga or he can do karma yoga, and
Nishkama.
whatever is done, if he cannot do, at least he can do the service to Lord Krishna. That way also it's a form of devotional service.
Very good. Thank you so much, Siddharaman Prabhu. I thought that you will not speak today after your realization, but yes, good. You are giving responses. Thank you so much. Yes. Well, we saw your chat message way late, but by that time, I think you have already left. Yes, it's very tough for us, Prabhu. For us, it's very tough that from the childhood we have been conditioned with various demigods, and to understand that it is very tough. For example, when initially 10 years before, when we met a ISKCON devotee, so the devotee clearly said, "Oh, you have so many gods in your altar. Why do we have so many gods in your altar? All these you shouldn't even keep. These are all materialistic gods. They belong to the material world." I was like, "What? How does it even happen?" So this was like a shock, just like a reaction, just like most of you people have felt. And slowly we were able to understand and get into the groove of it. And then we were, once we got into the tattva about what is Bhagavad Gita, what is God, then we were able to understand. For example, I don't remember the scriptural reference, but there is a reference which we can again share. It is all about Vishnu or Krishna, that we is need to, there is no need to offer our prayers to anyone else. But if it is still within our mind, we are not able to get rid of it with other demigods, we can continue to pray till the time we are not able to cleanse our minds, still we are not able to get into the mode of chanting. And then once we realize, automatically the realization will happen. Very good understanding. Yes.
Prabhuji, I wanted to mention one thing, that in whole Gita, 18 chapters are important in Kali Yuga, but the 12th one, the Bhakti Yoga, is very, very important, because in Kali Yuga, God want only bhakti from us, nothing else. So
Yes.
I think this 12th one is very, very important. If you are not understanding, you cannot chant whole Gita, then at least chant 12th Adhyaya. That is for us, and that is very beneficial for us in Kali Yuga.
Perfect. In fact,
That is the
any,
only chapter, Bhakti
yes.
Yoga.
In fact, any particular verses where Lord is speaking, any of the verses that we
Yes.
speak or that we chant, it's like purifying. That's the reason,
But,
rather than we are unable to chant, because in the first canto itself, in Bhagavatam first canto itself, it Prayan Alpayu, I'm gonna show you. I don't know how many of you people are able to. Have you seen our Vedaves website, where you will be able to access the Bhagavad Gita, or not yet?
Yes, Prabhuji, we have seen.
You've seen it, right? So this is for people who have not seen it. Okay, so let me try to share my screen. I'll stop this one and try to share the screen. Maybe I'll take another couple of minutes here before we jump into in today's session. Okay, are you able to see a browser, Bhaktivedanta website?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is called as Vedaves.io. So here we have all the Vedas here. This is Bhagavad Gita, then we have what you call Bhagavatam, then we have Chaitanya Charitamrita, then Krishna, Science of Self-Realization, and this was about Srila Prabhupada, Leela Amrita, so on and so forth. So if I click on library, there are tons of scriptures over here. This is what I keep talking about, Upadeshamrita, right? Then we have, this is the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. This is like very high. It's like, if we say, it's like sort of a PhD kind of a thing. So first we can go slowly, starting with Bhagavad Gita, then get into Bhagavatam, and then we can speak about Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yeah, so this is Chaitanya Charitamrita. So there are various many other scriptures that are there. So for people who are not able to control or stop those what you call readings, or who are very inquisitive in terms of reading, and they are not able to stop those novels and readings, they can pick up any small books or short books from here and start reading. And trust me, you will not even get back to those books which you were reading, because this is the real essence over here. So why I came to this particular website is, I want to show you here. This is the Srimad Bhagavatam, right? So in Srimad Bhagavatam, these are the cantos that are there. So if I go to the first Bhagavatam, the first canto, right, and the first chapter, what was the verse? Sabhya. I'm not able to recollect. Just give me a moment, please. Please mute it. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm just trying to find out which one is that. Okay, so this is how we see these are the verses. Now, if I don't want the purport, or I do not want in Devanagari, that is in Hindi, I can disable it as well. So if you see here, it's clearly written Janma Adi Asya, right? Let me make the font a little bigger. Is it clear now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so everything starts with Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Janmadasya Yato Anvayat. So the clearly it is being, Lord is being declaring itself, Janma Adi Asya. So all the meanings are given here as well, and translations are given. Let me go to the verse which I was talking about. Yes. See here. Prayenalpayusha sabhya kalau ashmin yuge jana manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya hi upadruta. Prayena, almost always, alpa, meager, ayusha, duration of life, sabhya, member of a learned society, kalau, in this age of Kali, Kali Yuga, that is the age of Kali Yuga is called as quarrel, asmin, here in yuge, age, janaha, the public, manda, we are lazy, sumanda mataya, misguided, manda bhagya, unlucky, and above all, upadrita, disturbed. Yeah, O learned one, in this iron age of Kali, men almost always have but short lives. They are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. This is the age we are in Kali Yuga. But the best part of it is, today I want to tell you one more thing, the best essence. Now we are in this material world. We know that it is a jail and it's a refinement center, or a so-called a punishment center where we need to come out. But please try to understand, when we read Chaitanya Charitamrita, you will see that we are very lucky that we are in this material world. Why? Let's say we do tapasyas and we do a lot of penances, and let's say we follow other modes of yoga or little bit of bhakti yoga, exceed our bhakti yoga, or let's say we do extreme dhyana yoga and jnana yoga just like yogis do, and then try to go to the heavenly planets, right? Let's say we go to the heavenly planets. What would happen? We might think that going to the heavenly planets, from there it's very easy to reach to God. No, it is not easy. Why? Because in the heavenly planets, first of all, our lifespan will increase, right? And we will be getting into more amount of bhogatyaga, and there are no pains at all. We will be always into the mode of bhoga, that we will forget the Lord. Literally, we will forget the Lord, right? Similarly, let's say we have done a lot of sins, and we are, fortunately or unfortunately, we are not born into this material world. Let's assume that. And then we go to the lower planets, right? Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahat, right? All those 7 lower planetary systems. what would happen? We have accumulated so many sins that we will be going through a punishment center, or a so-called, we are already in the sins, so we will be tortured in such a bad way. There are 28 hells that are described in the same Bhagavatam, which we can read at any point of time or in our Bhakti Vriksha, where it's like somebody is deep frying us for a kurkure or some kind of a chips. It will be so tough. So why am I trying to tell this is because we will not even get a second of our time over there in the lower planetary systems, because we have accumulated so much of sins that we are going through the punishment in those lower planets. So that's exactly why we are emphasizing more on bhakti yoga, bhakti yoga, bhakti yoga. So it is, we are very lucky that we are in this age of Kali, where we can take up this particular what you call bhakti, take the shelter of the Lord, take the shelter of the Guru, and get into bhakti and just progress it. If we are not able to do this, let's do something else. For example, yesterday we saw all the progressive ladders. If you're not able to do pure bhakti, at least do little bit of Mishra bhakti, right? If you're not able to fix your mind and senses together and utilize your intelligence as well, which is like complete bhakti, no problem, at least do some kind of bhakti. If you're not able to do that little bit of bhakti, let's go to the next stage, which is like yoga mishra bhakti, which is like nishkama karma yoga. No, I'm not able to do work for Krishna. That's what we saw. That's the reason I was telling you, okay, right time, you can give your charity. If you think this is the right time to give charity, do charity. At least do something. No, I can't do that also. At least do something else. So that is how we saw the progressive stages yesterday. Right. So moving on to today, are you able to see my slide? Can anyone please confirm?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so that was all about Veda base, where you will be able to see or view any of those things at any point of time. Similarly, there are Android and iPhone apps as well, and they do not require internet. Once you download them onto your smartphone device, you can view them at any given point of time. The entire whatever we saw the Veda base, it will be available on your smartphone, and it doesn't require internet. So that way, if you want to put it on your smartphone or your iPad or any Android device, you can do that as well. So that every now and then it is handful or handy with you always.
What is the app's name?
We can share that we can share that with you on the group, Mataji.
Okay. Okay,
It's called Bhakti Vedanta Vedabase.
Yes, Bhakti Vedanta Vedabase, it is there. One requires internet, one doesn't require internet. So without that, you can download it. We will share that link. Maybe you can download it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
A doubt.
Yes, please.
Prabhuji, when we are referring to the lower planets, so there are some types of living beings, or there are asurs or rakshas, or it is ruled by Lord Yamraj.
Yes, they are all the suras are at the above. So all the asuras come down. Correct. Bhur Bhuvar Swar, that is there, right? On Earth, the top earthly planets comes in, and above that our heavenly planet comes in. So below Bhuloka, that is the Earth, the entire down comes the Atala, Vitala, Sutala, all those planetary systems which we spoke the other day, that comes down in the below planets. So there are leading deities as well who takes care of them. So all those are asuras. One of them is Bali Maharaj, who's taking care of it. So we cannot think that they have not done bhakti. They have done bhakti. So maybe that's how they are the ruling deity at that point of time. Yeah, in the Sutala Loka, he's currently managing it.
And Guru Shukracharya is also there.
Guru Sukracharya, yes, he's there, but I don't recollect where he is. I think he's in
Patal Lok, I think so.
Patal Loka, maybe my reference might be incorrect. I don't recall correctly. Maybe, Prabhu. Yes, you're right. He's also there. Okay, with this, I'll mute you all with your permission, and then we'll go ahead with today's session. Okay, so this was the sections of our Bhagavad Gita. I hope you all remember, right? and we saw that this is a particular where we saw the jewel as well. The jewel is in the center, which was a bhakti yoga, and then we saw the karma section. The first part is called as the karma section, and the second part is called as the bhakti yoga section, and the third part is called as the jnana yoga section. But if you have noticed, I have mentioned at the below everywhere is bhakti yoga, bhakti yoga, bhakti yoga, right? Any idea why I have mentioned as bhakti yoga, bhakti yoga? Does anyone would want to answer?
Through
All
Bhakti
other,
Yoga, we can attain all these, Guru.
We can attain.
Because I think all the paths, if you sincerely follow any of the paths, you can still achieve the Lord. So it's a kind of a bhakti.
And finally, everybody will reach Bhakti Yoga.
Yes, perfect. It's a path leading towards is to connecting to the Lord. Yoga means connecting to the Lord, and through how we are going to connect it, what total unalloyed or ananya devotion. Perfect answer. Thank you, sir.
Prabhuji,
Yes.
actually, I didn't heard, but I just had a question in my mind that Goloka Vrindavan, you are going to explain it again, like in detail or something like that.
You want me to explain? We can explain that. No problem. We had
I
already touched.
am interested to see that Atala, Vitala, Sutala, what is there exactly, and
Sure.
again, I want to know, like.
Okay, sure. We will see that one more time, right? We have shared the Goloka chart, but still we can see that one more time. Let's try to finish today's chapter. And when we find time, definitely we'll be able to see it today or tomorrow. I'll include it. I have made a note of it.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so this is where we spoke about in the first six chapters about the confidential knowledge, which is the body and the soul distinction. And then we spoke about the karma section. And then we touched upon karma in Krishna consciousness, how we can do a karma as well, the Krishna consciousness which we saw. And that's what is called as action and inaction. And when do we renounce and all. And what are the various ladders, that's what we saw. Then in the 7 to 12 chapters we learned about the more confidential knowledge, which is where we start doing devotional service and then we connect to our Paramatma. Apart from the soul within us, we also know that there is a Paramatma who's seated within us, who's the four-handed form, right? And then we also saw the more confidential knowledge in terms of pure devotional service. And once we do the pure devotional service, Krishna reciprocates. We saw that as the most confidential knowledge as well. Now, in these chapters, whatever we have learned so far, be it the Sankhya philosophy in terms of Sankhya, just like the Hindi term called as Sankhya means numbers, we're going to see all those things today. Remember, which we parked one of the portions about the entire material world, which the other day, who was it? I think Sitaraman Prabhu was asking a question, what is Pradhana, what is Mahat and all that. So there was one question in the quiz which we were asking. Today we will discuss those elements, the material elements. Today we're going to discuss about that as well. That is called as the Jnana part of it. And finally, once we get the Jnana and the knowledge part of it, then we will see how we can perfect this particular jnana, which will culminate to the Bhakti Yoga section of it. Right, moving on. So today's what you call chapter has been acronymed as wise questions. So Arjuna are going to start once again for the benefit of the jiva for us. He will ask with the very wise questions, and then we will Lord will reciprocate, or Lord will answer with the references. And we will also see what are the items of the knowledge which we learned yesterday in terms of amanitvam, adambitam and all. We will see that in detail today, all those good divine qualities which we need to have. And we will also speak about the soul and the super soul, and then we will finally what you call conclude with enjoyer. How are we the enjoyer, and actually who's the enjoyer? And we will also see what is the Jnana Chakshu or the Phalashruti. I hope you remember we discussed about 5.29 in the 5th chapter. Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, right? Suhridam Sarvabhutanam Shantimam Shantim Rachati. Right? We discussed about that. The Bhoktaram. We will also touch that today. We will see that. Right, moving on. Arjuna once again starts with a question. And what is his question? It starts with the verse, the first verse. Arjuna vacha prakritim purusham chaiva kshetram kshetrajnam evacha etat veditum ichchami jnanam gneyam cha keshava. Please focus, because this might be easy if you understand. If you do not understand, it might become little technical. Okay, it's not that technical, but it might become little technical. If you're aware of it, you can ignore, but please little bit focus here. So Arjuna said, oh my dear Krishna, I wish to know about Prakriti, number one, Purusha, number two, and the field, number three, and the knower of the field, right, number four, and of knowledge, what is knowledge, and the object of knowledge, right? 6 questions. Okay, you don't even have to worry what is field of the knowledge, what is knower of the field and of the knowledge, and what is the object of the knowledge. We will see one by one over here. So these are the 6 questions which he just asked. What is Prakriti? What is Purusha? What is Kshetra? What is Kshetrajna? What is Jnanam? And what is Gneyam? Let's have a quick discussion, maybe just for a minute. Let me try to... Yes, I'm sure everyone has an answer for the first one. What is Prakriti?
Nature.
Nature.
The material nature,
Nature.
which is around us. Perfect. Okay. What is Purusha, or who is Purusha?
Lord Krishna only Purusha.
We the people.
The
Man.
living beings that is called as human
Our
beings.
body. Our body.
Lord Krishna is the only Purusha.
Lord Krishna is the only Purusha. Okay, good answer. We are also Purusha. So always remember, he is the Mahapurusha
Param
or
Purusha.
the Param Purusha. We are the tiny Purusha, right? We are the tiny Purusha because we are called as a Jiva, and we also have a soul, and we are also eternal. But we are the tiny Purusha, but he is the big Purusha or the Param Purusha. Correct. Okay. So now, so here we understood what is Prakriti and who is Purusha, right? And let's talk about what is Kshetra.
Our body.
Body.
Material world.
Material world. No, material world just now we discussed as Prakriti. So Kshetra can't be material world. Yes, the answer is our body. Our body. For example, we have a soul. Now, once we go to the Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi, once we have gone to death, our soul has to transmigrate. Now, if our soul has to desire and transmigrate and it has to do some activity, it has to take up another body, right? So, Kshetra is a place where we do some activity, right? Just for simple terms, think that Kshetra is just a place where we do an activity. For a soul to do some activity, it requires a body. Am I correct?
Correct.
So the soul will acquire a body, and that body is called as the Kshetra. Right? We will see that in the next slide with an example. I'll try to explain that as well little further. For now, Kshetra means our body. The Jiva's body is nothing but the Kshetra. Okay. So what is Kshetrajna?
Those who know about this body.
Perfect. The knower of the body is called as the Kshetrajna. So who knows about my body? I know about my body, right? So I know about my body. Who knows about your body? You will know about your body, right? Apart from you, who knows about your body as well?
The soul.
will know.
Paramatma.
Yes.
Supreme soul.
Your creator.
Yes. Apart from you, there is another Kshetrajna. The second Kshetrajna is nothing but the super soul, the Paramatma. The Paramatma also knows about your body. He knows about your body, my body, everyone's body. Right? Sarva Bhutanam. So now we know what is Prakriti, now we know what is Purusha, now we know what is Kshetra. Kshetra is a place where we do an activity. The soul requires a place to do an activity, and that place is nothing but the body. And what is Kshetrajna? Kshetrajna is the knower of the Kshetra. That is called a Kshetrajna. What is Jnanam? Everyone knows. Jnana means the knowledge.
The knowledge.
Yeah, the knowledge. What is Gneyam?
Goal of knowledge.
Yes, the goal of knowledge or the object of knowledge. What is our goal of knowledge? To connect with the Lord. To connect with the Lord. Correct?
Is the Lord Krishna.
Yes, to connect with the Lord Krishna or to reach, to do bhakti and to connect with the Lord and to reach Goloka Vrindavan. That is Gneyam. That is the object of our knowledge or the goal of our knowledge. Perfect. So this is what we were trying to understand. What is Prakriti? Prakriti is the material nature, right? What is Purusha or who is Purusha? Purusha is nothing but the enjoyer of Prakriti, the Jiva. We are enjoying the Prakriti here. And what is Kshetra? Kshetra is nothing but our body or our so-called Shariram. And what is Kshetrajna? The knower of this particular body. Who knows our body? We as living entity, we know our body, individual body. And there is another person who knows about our body, who is nothing but the super soul. And what is Jnanam? Understanding between the Kshetra and the Kshetrajna and the entire material nature, the entire knowledge aspect of it is called as Jnanam. And what is Gneyam? Our goal of the knowledge. After knowing what is a confidential information, more confidential information, most confidential information, after knowing transcendental yoga, so on and so forth, what are we going to do? We have to connect with the Lord. Our soul's eternity is to always connect with the Lord. So that is the goal of our knowledge, which is Paramatma. So I try to give here an analogy here just for simple terms. Just like a farmer knows only about his field. He doesn't know about my field. He takes care and he does what he call cultivate in his own field. Like that, I will cultivate my field. However, a king who's taking care of the entire kingdom will have the knowledge of each and every field of his entire praja. That's what I've been trying to explain here between a king who knows the. This was an explanation for Kshetrajna. There are two types of Kshetrajna, which is a individual soul who knows about his own body, and the same body will be also known by the super soul. Okay, I see there is a question by Vasudha Mataji. Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, there was not question. The slide, this Arjuna's question, the last answer is not visible. Can you pull up the slide a little higher because we can't do it from here?
Yes.
But then the upper thing is gone now.
Okay, let me.
I think.
Okay, let me try to fit it within the screen.
Yes.
Actually, it was already fitting in the screen. Is this fine now? But it will become small. What is Gneyam? Goal of the knowledge.
Yeah, this is good.
At last question. Yes. Yes, what? Now you can see. I can see it.
Okay, this is good, right?
Arjuna's.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll be sharing the slides. Anyway, we share all the slides. So this was the verse number 1 and this is the verse number 2 where the Lord is trying to explain over here. So at this point of time, I would like to take a pause, and if there are questions, please ask, because this is very important to understand these 6 terms. I think now it is easy, right?
Yeah. Is there any difference between Jiva and soul?
Is there any difference between a Jiva and a soul? No. We are the Jivas. We are the souls. We can call souls. We are the Jivas. Okay. Anyone who has a soul are called as Jivas. And Kshetra is the body or the Shariram. Okay. So I'll take your silence as that it is good. We are all good. We understood it. Again, with your permission, I'll mute you all and then we'll move on to the next slide. Right. So this is what I was trying to again explain with one more example here, where Krishna is the owner of the house. For example, let's say I might be owning a house, right? And I might rent it to somebody else, and that person becomes the owner. But however, who knows about this particular house apart from me and apart from whoever is staying over there? Krishna is the super knower of everyone and any and every living entity. And that's what we were trying to explain here. Okay, moving further, this is the verse number 3. O sign of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower in all the bodies. We already just discussed this. And to understand this body and its knower, is called the knowledge, that is the jnanam, which we already discussed. That is my opinion. So that is what he was trying to explain. The Lord explains in the third verse, which we just put it forward here in the previous slide. So I'll move on. For example, in this particular slide, this is what we were trying to explain here, that this is our soul, and then the Paramatma. Soul is available in Paramatma everywhere, and Paramatma is also there apart from our soul. Okay, moving on to this particular slide, this is what we were talking about. I think all of you are aware of. So verses 6 to 7 talks about the what you call the entire material elements that are required during the what you call creation of this universe or universes, right? Verse number 6 to 7. The great elements, false ego, intelligence, the unmanifested, sorry about that, the unmanifested, the 10 senses, and the mind, the 5 senses, desire, hatred, happiness, distress, the aggregate, the life symptoms and convictions, all these are considered in summary to be the field of activities and its interactions. What does it mean? Okay, let me try to explain. Right, we learned about Prakriti and we learned about Purusha. Right, let's try to relate these two things, Prakriti and Purusha, and then we learned about Kshetra. Kshetra, we all know that this is our body. Okay, so there are 5 gross elements our body is made up of. Our body is made up of 5 gross elements. What are the gross elements? The first column, which your people are seeing here, this is the first column: earth, water, fire, air, ether. Okay, if ether is not there, I will not be able to speak. If I speak also, you will not be able to hear the medium which is required to hear. Right, air, there are life airs between us. For example, if I have to bend my hand or if I have to bend any portion of my body, there are airs, and there is a main air is where we breathe in and exhale. Fire, there is a digestive fire. If you don't believe that there is a digestive fire, we can touch a body and we can feel the temperature. Water, everyone knows. And earth, yes, our body is completely made up of earth. So these are the 5 gross elements, are also called as Pancha Mahabhuta. Right. Now, coming to the knowledge acquiring senses. So we all know, we have also seen the body of the chariot, right? Eyes, nose, ears, tongue and skin. With eyes, we get the eyesight, right? And with nose, we smell, ears, we hear, tongue, we taste, and skin, we touch, we can touch. So these are the knowledge acquiring senses. And the working senses are voice, legs, right, hands, anus and genitals. And the object of the senses, what do you mean by object and the senses? With the eyes, I can see the Lord's form. And with my nose, I can smell the flowers that has been offered to the Lord. And with my ears, when I chant, I can hear the sound. Similarly, with my tongue, I can taste the prasadam of the Lord. Right? With the skin, I can touch. So I can do deity worship, I can touch the form of the Lord, and so on and so forth. I can offer flowers. So these are the object of the senses. So like this, we covered 20 elements or 20 items here. Now what are the other 4? Which is, there are 3 subtle elements. What are the 3 subtle elements which you people are already aware of? Mind, intelligence and false ego. Can anyone tell me what is the difference between ego and false ego? Let me unmute. Sorry, I'm taking little bit time here so that these concepts are very clear so that we don't falter. What is the difference between ego, or let me ask this way. What is the difference between true ego and false ego?
False ego is when we think we are the doer.
False ego is something when we think that we are the doer. Okay, good answer. What is a true ego then?
It all happens through Krishna.
True ego is all it happens through Krishna. Okay, good. Any other answer?
Ahamkara is false ego, and aham, I am the spirit, is a good ego.
Yes, that's a very good answer. I am a spirit soul and I have a body. That understanding is called as a true ego. Okay, I have a body. The body has been given by the Lord. and I'm a soul, I'm an eternal soul, and who always serve the Lord. So that is the true ego, right?
Prabhuji,
However,
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. I wanted to know why it is termed as ego, because it can be also a knowledge. It is a knowledge actually, that to understand that I am a soul. This is an understanding, but then why are we calling it as an ego?
Prabhuji, can I speak on this?
Yes, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah. I wanted to give two examples. One example with Chanakya. He has one ego till the time I will not destroy the dynasty of Nandavansh. I will not I will not bind my chutia. That ego he has. That ego. Or one ego with Ravana. He was just thinking about to take the revenge from Ram. That was the ego. So that ego is false ego, or Chanakya has right ego. I wanted to differentiate in that way.
Yes, yeah, that's a good example. So, Mataji, your question in terms of this should have been, this is actually ego is called as ahankar, and why it is called as ego here, rather it should have been used as what did you say? Knowledge, correct? That's what you were trying to ask, right? So we can use that way, but however, this is a problem with the English, right? So that's the problem with English. If we would have used in Hindi or any of our mother tongue, maybe it would have been a different. For example, I'll give whatever Prabhuji you said, that's a good example. Another example that I can think of or I can give here, which we generally give our sadhus or our gurus give is, our acharyas give is Hanuman. Hanumanji, when he went to Lanka, he did not think that I have all the powers and I can burn the entire Lanka. He said, I'm your servant, I'm the dasa of you, and I'm doing this activity because I have to teach a lesson. He utilized his body and his soul with his true ego and he burnt the entire Lanka. That is called as a true ego. But as you rightly gave in terms of Chanakya, he will not sleep in peace, or Ravana will not sleep in peace till he does a bad thing. That is called as a false ego. So that's the difference between false ego and a true ego. So false ego will come into picture when I say I'm an engineer, I'm a doctor, I'm an actor, I'm a student, and I have the knowledge of it and I am doing it. Just like some Mataji said, aham, I'm doing it. I'm the karta dharta. Yes, the knower. That's how the false ego comes into picture. But if I think that yes, I'm doing it, I'm the doer, but I cannot do it unless the Lord sanctions it, and I'm a soul and I'm doing it because the Lord has sanctioned it, because the Lord has utilized me as as an instrument and I'm doing it. That becomes a true ego. Okay, let me try to mute again. Okay, the last one. What is this unmanifested? Let's take a scenario. Just think that just now pralaya happened. The entire pralaya happened. What happens when the pralaya happened? Everything, all the jivas goes back to the body of Garbhodakshay Vishnu, right? It rests on the body of Garbhodakshay Vishnu. For how long? For some millions of years, till the next cycle or till the next yuga or the cycle has to come into picture. So pralaya happens after every night of Brahma. Brahmaji lives for 100 years, right? So every night of Brahma it happens. So Brahma has a day. During the daytime, he creation of what you call all the living entities happen, and in the night time the pralaya happens at the end of the night. So at this point of time, assume that the pralaya happened. When the pralaya happened, everything, the Garbhodakshay Vishnu, which we saw in the what you call in the creation, which we showed you in the Goloka chart, the entire water is filled up, right? And then you will see entire fire blowing out from the anantas, from the hoods and all. Everything gets burned. All the entire annihilation happens. The entire anda is nothing but one universe. Entire anda is filled up and it is completely burned, and that is how the annihilation happens. And what happens at that time? All of the substances, the material substances that are required, earth, water, fire, air, ether, are all inactive. They are at the pradhana mode. That's called as the pradhana, right? However, these subtle elements, that is mind, intelligence, and false ego, are still available, but they are in an inactive state. Now, when will it become again active? When the Lord glances again through the agency of Maya and through the agency of Shambhu, that is Lord Shiva, that is one of the Lord Shiva, that is a Shankarshana, which he utilizes the potency power over there, and that is where the material creation comes into existence. From unmanifested state, it gets into the manifested state. It starts becoming active, right? So that is where it becomes active. So all these mind, intelligent, false ego comes into active state, and then the gunas will come into picture. What are the gunas? The three modes. What are the three modes? Sattva guna, rajas guna, and the tamo guna will become active. And the living entities, when the living entities are created, automatically whoever has done their karma based on their gunas, the gunas will be injected into them. So that was what I was talking about, the unmanifested elements. So these are the 24 material elements that is mentioned over here, or Lord is talking about. Maybe you can again go into the purports of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada has explained in depth about this in a detailed way in this verses 6 and 7, which I try to give you a essence over here. Moving forward, these are called as the koshas, or the koshas that are required. What are koshas? Koshas are nothing but the consciousness. What is the symptom of our soul? Symptom of our soul is the consciousness. So these are the 5 stages of Brahman realizations, which is referred in the Taittiriya Upanishads, which is good for our knowledge. Maybe you don't have to remember them, but automatically once you read once or twice, we will remember them. So somebody, a soul who's at the stage of Annamaya, for them food is the supreme object because they want to gratify their gross senses, right? So all of us are almost at that stage. Everyone will start off with the Annamaya stage itself. Then we'll get in the next stage, which is Pranamaya, seeks to preserve his life. Again, first we want to food, then we want to preserve our life, then we want to build our material things, okay, then we want to take care, food, shelter, all those things are mentioned over there. Then slowly we'll move to the next stage, which is Jnanamaya. One appreciates the subtle interactions of mind, intelligence, emotions, aesthetics, etc. at ultimate, right? Once we will try to understand about that there is something called as there is an object called as a Lord, which we need to worship, and so on and so forth. We'll get into that stage. Vijnanamaya, where we know, we are conscious about, okay, there is a Lord, apart from the Lord there is Prakriti, now we have a soul, and so on and so forth. That is the almost, so these are like the realizations of our consciousness. And the last one is the ultimate realization. One realizes the distinction between his self, his supreme self, and enters into the blissful relationship with the Supreme Lord. Right? This is almost the ultimate realizations where we realize and we are able to connect with the Lord. But most of the times we are either in Annamaya or Pranamaya and try to get into the Jnanamaya stage. We, very rarely we will get into the Vijnanamaya stage as well. Right? If we are able to get into the Vijnanamaya stage and the last one, Anandamaya stage, it's like we have attained Kevala Bhakti or the pure Bhakti. So moving on, this was the same 24 elements which I was trying to explain, which we have shown in the pictorial form here. The first gross elements in the first row, and then maybe it's not visible here, but again, knowledge acquiring senses and the working senses, then the subtle elements, the object of the senses, touch, mind, all those things are there. And what are the results of these particular senses? Is where is mentioned. At times we get into pleasure, pain, emotions, and so on and so forth. Hatred are mentioned in the last row. It's a pictorial format which we try to show here for your better understanding. Yes, so after listening to these verses, or after listening to Krishna, again Arjuna pondered, how do I understand or cultivate this knowledge? Can you please give me this information? So this is where he's going to give this piece of information. Krishna is going to say. So this is what we have already learned. I hope you remember this picture. One is the Jiva. There are 2 Purushas over there. One is a tiny Purusha, which is we, who's flapping the wings and trying to enjoy. And the other one is a super soul, the supernover, who is the Lord, who's sitting and watching us and looking at our karmas, what we are doing. He's counting on us. So we already learned this particular slide as well in our previous references, How can we understand Bhagavad Gita? By ultimate mood with the faith. Once we surrender with the ultimate faith, that's how we will be able to develop our personal character and a practical approach towards our behavior. I'm sure many of you people would have changed the way you have started with day one until today, right? I'm sure you would have done the way you're doing things, and the way you are doing things now, there might be a variation, at least a tinge of a variation in your practical approach. With this, we will be able to develop divine qualities once we understand Bhagavad Gita. Now let's see what are those divine qualities or items and how we can cultivate them. Right. This is one example which we are trying to show here, the consciousness of a particular jiva. For example, in a robber's hand, the knife would look like a weapon where we can try to scare, or we can try to, what you call, threaten someone. However, with the same consciousness, if we think, how would the surgeon use the same knife, right? The surgeon or the doctors who are there on this particular call, who are many, they would use it in terms of saving a particular life or a jiva. That's the consciousness which we are looking at. Now this is one more consciousness, right? This is something important which I have spoken about, or we have spoken about these terms: bijam, kutam, papam. I hope you people remember, right? So this is one more consciousness. What is this consciousness? Let's try to understand. Someone, the jiva in the first picture, is trying to think or assume, or trying to think or imagining saying smoking and drinking tendency. He just has a tendency, or he's just thinking, oh, I wish I could smoke and I can drink. Slowly, what happens over a period of time, because I have that bijam, or the tendency, or the seed within me, the dormant seed within me. Remember, we always gave you the example of, because there was a dormant bhakti that was there within us, always there within us, automatically it will ignite. So because this bijam is there within this particular jiva's heart of smoking and what you call boozing or drinking, slowly it will turn into kutam. What is kutam? That proclivity will increase, and he will start desiring, and he will start acting on it. Smoking and drinking desires, it will get into the action mode. That is called as a kutam. That seed will slowly start growing, right? Then what happens? It grows, it grows, it grows. At the third stage, if you see here, unmanifested reaction. Do you think this particular jiva will, what is unmanifested? It means it is there within him or her, but it has not manifested, it has not come out. We can't see the reactions yet. Slowly he's already getting into those signs. He's doing the papam here. If you see, his eyes are already blown up. Now he's completely into boozing and drinking and so on and so forth. Then the papam, or the unmanifested reaction, once he goes and meets a doctor over a period of time, will get into the manifested reaction. What is manifested reaction? Ultimately, this particular person will get sick or get diseased with various diseases, and he will get bedridden. So these are the topics which are explained in our Vedas as well. Someone will have a cheating propensity, right? Let's say I want to loot a bank. Because I have that tendency within me, which is called as a bijam, all of a sudden, or maybe tomorrow, I will end up in, because that kutam will increase, and that's how I will get into looting a bank. As and when I loot a bank, what would happen? I will follow a court case, right? As and when I get into the court case, what would happen? Does it mean I'm going through the punishment over there? No, it's still not decided. So the court and the cops will look into all the verification procedure and so on and so forth. They'll do the proceedings, and finally the papam will come out as a sin, and that's how it gets into the manifested reaction. That was a consciousness which we were trying to explain here. These terms are very important. These are very higher topics which we will be able to understand when we get into something called as the nectar of devotion, which has been done by Srila Rupa Goswami, which is a very, very deep subject. And sorry, yeah, of bhakti. It's a very, very deeper topic of bhakti, but I thought I will include them just for your reference. If I've confused you people, just ignore for time being, but I hope you were able to understand with the pictures. Okay, so these were the items of the knowledge which we need to get into in terms of humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance with heat and cold, right, with happiness and sadness, right, simplicity, accepting a spiritual master, cleanliness, right, not only external cleanliness by taking bath, internal cleanliness as well by doing those ABCD principles, steadiness, self-control, so on and so forth. There are many over here. Detachment, no entanglement with wife, children, etc. Right? Even-mindedness. As in when you see this 14th one, I think many people might say, oh, wait a minute. So does it mean that we should not love our, what you call our wife and children? Of course we can love our wife and children, but there shouldn't be attachment. Just like the Prakriti, every day, Prakriti, that is the sun and the moon, they just rise. They ensure that they do their job, but they do not have any kind of attachment in terms of or any expectations. Do not expect out of any from those relationships is what it's being explained here. Once we get into that mode of no expectations at all, that way we will be progressing. That's exactly what we have been trying to say. Detach, detach, detach. Okay. Okay, Jiva in this material world. Let me take another 2 minutes here. Can anyone try to explain what exactly is happening here in this picture? If this picture is clear, I don't know how clear is it. Jiva in this or we in this material world, what are we trying to do? Let me maximize a bit if you can see this.
Can I say, Prabhuji?
Yes, please. If you're already aware of it, then don't tell me. Don't tell.
Sorry?
Have you? Okay, please go ahead. No problem, Mataji.
Yeah, I can see in the picture the snakes are there, and the God is there who want to save this person from the snakes, and that's why that elephant is moving this tree, so that body, I mean the person can come out from that snake pond, and God wanted to save that, and God has sent the elephant to save him.
Okay, that's a one way of understanding. Okay, good. Maybe partially.
Sir, can I say?
Yes,
Can
please,
I say?
Mataji. Yes, please,
Sir,
Mataji.
this guy is surrounded from every side by trouble. Below, if he tries to jump in a well, there are snakes. There is one elephant who is trying to uproot the tree on which he is trying to take a support. He is taking support with the help of two hands, but there are two big rats on that branch, and that rats are trying to unstabilize his support on the branch. The only way left is the Lord who can save him.
And he's trying to suck the honey. Perfect, perfect answer. So, perfect. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you. Yes, the other one, Mataji, Radhika Mataji, what you gave was also partially correct. Perfect. Thank you so much. I'll again mute you all. So, yes, you got the essence here. So, here these two rats are like day and night, right? Everyone with Jiva has a lifespan. Day and night are getting over. You see, but he's trying to hang over here and he's waiting to just lick the honey here, waiting for the honey, the droplets of the honey. And the Lord, who is desperately waiting here, always he's giving all the signs saying, please come. He's trying to entangle him from all these are the material kleshas. As you rightly mentioned, here these are all the material kleshas, adhyatmika, adi bhautika and all that. And at the same time here, the what you call the elephant is trying to uproot the tree as well. Still we are trying to lord over the prakriti and we are trying to enjoy. And here day and night, the black one and the white one is a day and one is a night. Our days and nights are getting over. We are becoming old. No matter what we become old, still we are trying to enjoy the honey in this particular material world. That is what Jiva is trying to do in this material world. Moving further, we will see this is what the real problem of life. What is a real problem of life? Going through these 84 lakh species. Birth, death, old age and disease. Birth, death, old age and disease. Janma, Mrityu, Jara. Jara is old age and disease. Vyadi. What are the temporary problems that we are craving for and which we feel that they are a very significant and the main problems, which is food, shelter, and clothing. And the best and the most important part, which we have been discussing or many of you have voiced out, is money, money, money. That was the money or the honey which that person was hanging, right? These are all our temporary problems in life. Now, how you would want to control it? You can control it and think through, is food the main criteria for me? Is shelter the main criteria for me? Or is clothing the main criteria for me? Or is just earning money the main criteria for me? Because we have been going on and like a never ending story. We will be thinking that, okay, let me stabilize my life for some time and then I will try to get into bhakti. That's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. Today we are in 10 by 10, tomorrow we'll say 12 by 12, then later we will say 15 by 15, later we will say, yes, I need a bungalow, I need to enjoy. So that's never going to happen. But at the end of the day, antakalecha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram, we will never think about it. So we will be getting into the same thoughts of what China has done, what Pakistan is doing, and what England is doing or UK is doing. We will get into the news. But at the end of the day, when we die, we may never know. The best part is we will be born over there, right? We don't know what will happen to us. So that is exactly what. So, but we fail to understand the Ishavashyam principle. Ishavashyam in the Upadeshamrita clearly states in the invocation prayers that I am giving everything and everything has a quota for all you people. But we misuse our quota. Krishna is already supplying everything, but we don't see that. Just like yesterday Mataji was explaining, all the animals who are there, where we feel that they do not have consciousness, they have a lower consciousness, they know how to find their food. They are not like what you call, they do not have, if they don't have food, they're not going to die. They know how to find a food, where to find a food. They are still living in peace and harmony. They don't fight. But we people fight and we would want to lord it over everything. Moving further, this is what the object of the knowledge which is explained in the verses 13.19. What are the object of the knowledge between the soul and the super soul? We have already done this here and there. We have done this. I'll just quickly run through. Living entities are known as Jivatma, and God, who is the maintainer, known as Paramatma. Right? Krishna is known as the Paramatma. Individual knower of the body, of our own body, we the soul, and super soul is the knower of everyone and everything. Right? Soul is the secondary proprietor of one body. Right? We are the proprietor or we are the owner of our body. However, Lord is the proprietor of all the bodies. And secondary controller of our senses. We are able to control our senses, but Lord can also control our senses. That's the reason we are called as the secondary controller of our senses. But however, Supreme Lord is the controller of all the senses. Rishikesha, I hope you still remember the word which we learned in day 1. We are called as Sat, Chit, and Ananda. Sat means the eternal aspect. We are always eternal. Chit means the knowledge. Ananda is the bliss aspect of it. He is also called as Satchitananda. We are controlled by material nature, but who is the controller of Maya or Durga Devi or Mahamaya? Lord is the controller of the material nature. Innumerable living entities. There are many, many living entities in the material world. Although he resides in everyone, he is only one. There is only one Param Purusha, who is the super soul. And we are called as Anu, he is called as Vibhu, right? And we are the size of the soul is also given in Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, which is 1 by 10,000 tip of our hair. Our tip of our hair itself is so tiny, and we are 1 by 10,000 tip of our hair, right? So we are subordinate and he's our supreme master. What is the benefit of knowing this particular information or differentiation between our soul and the super soul? Is we will be able to connect with the Lord. What is the goal of our knowledge or name of our knowledge? Is to become blissful when we connect with the Lord. Moving further, what is the purpose of this material nature then, or creation, and why did Lord create it? We already discussed it. I hope you people have already answered being in mute. Yes, this is a refinement center or a punishment center for all of us so that we connect to the Lord. Purusha, Prakriti and their union. What is a union? Material nature and the living entities should be understood to be beginningless. Anadi. Beginningless means for us there is no beginning. The material nature was always there. Remember, we just spoke when we spoke about the 24 material elements. We spoke about what you call it was an unmanifested state during the Mahapralaya or the Pralaya, right? And then it becomes a manifested state. So they were always there. The souls were also always there, beginningless. Their transformations and the modes of matter are products of the material nature. They are injected into it, and that's how we become the products of the material nature, and we get into the anda. When the anda is created, the universe is created. So the jiva in this material world, that is both material nature and living entities, are always eternal. That's what we learned from here. And Lord is the supreme Purusha, but jiva is trying to lord over this particular disposition in this material world. We are trying to lord over anything and everything in this material world. Nothing happens by chance, as a cause and an effect are both handled by the material nature. For example, the COVID, it has not happened by chance. It has been, maybe the Lord has sanctioned it, as simple as that. This is the real essence of many of people who have asked questions on day 1 and day 2. Why do bad things happen to good people? This is the true essence of it, because we would want to lord over our position on this material nature. One who understands the Purusha, Prakriti and their union will live in peace and harmony. We'll see that. So do we really have a freedom? And are we really enjoying here? That's what we need to understand, because we have built up many houses, many mansions, and we are thinking that yes, we're going to live in peace and harmony. Do we really have the freedom? No, we do not have the freedom. While we have the free will, we do not have the freedom, because we are always being acted or entangled by the three modes of material nature. We'll see that. Influence of the material nature. How is it? This is one of the favorite verses. Purusha prakristho hi bhunte prakriti jan gunan karanam guna sangoshya sad asadyoni janmashu. Bhunte. Bhunte means we are enjoying. The living entity in the material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of material nature. What are the three modes? Goodness, passion and ignorance. These are the three women, the three modes. The goodness, passion and the ignorance. This is due to his, why is it? Because the association with the material nature. Because we are in this material nature, we get associated with the material nature. As and when we are born with goodness, passion and ignorance. Goodness, passion and ignorance. Right? Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Thus he meets with the good and evil among various species. That's what the meaning of this. That's the influence of a material nature. So the jiva in this material world is not independent, but we always think that we are independent. No, we are always dependent on the Prakriti. The living entity is the cause of this material sufferings and enjoyment. Today, whatever sufferings are happening, whatever see around the so-called isms, socialism, communism, whatever ism you want to add to a particular word, all these are because of us, because of the living entity, because we would want to lord it over. Now we are planning to get into the Mars as well, right? Okay, what is the function of the super soul, which you people are already aware? This is also one of the famous verses for memorization for people who would want to learn about this. Upadrishtanumanta cha bharta bhokta maheshwaraha paramatmeti chapyukto dehesmin purusha paraha. Yet in this body, apart from a soul, there is another, a transcendental enjoyer. Who's the transcendental enjoyer? Who's the Lord? Who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as the overseer and the permitter, and who is known as the super soul. So he is we have a super soul. Apart from a soul, we have a super soul. Who is he? Who's the overseer? Who's seeing all the activities, just like the bird who's sitting here and observing everything, and we are enjoying here. Look at here, we are enjoying what the Lord is observing. And he is the permitter as well, and he is the supreme enjoyer. How does he permit? Based on our ability and based on our karmas, based on our ability and based on our karmas. That's how he does it. And I hope we remember, we learned this in the 5th chapter about the 3 doers. Let me unmute for maybe 10 seconds. Who are the 3 doers? Can anyone quickly answer?
We desire, he sanctions, and the material nature executes.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Those are the 3 doers. Yes, so that's what we already learned it. Okay, there you go. It's here as well. The soul desires. How do we desire? Because of our free will, we desire things here, right? The symptom of the soul, using our consciousness and everything, we desire. Super soul sanctions it. How does he sanction it? Based on our desires and our karmas, what according to our desires, and gives instructions to the material nature to carry out that particular. So now it is high time that we modify the desire to cut the chain of these 3 chains, or the Mahamaya, the 3 modes of material nature. Or it's high time we change our boss. If we are heavily being ruled by passion, ensure that we are not ruled by passion. Slowly get into the mode of goodness. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's say we are passionate just to earn money, earn money, earn money. Think, what is the limit for earn money? What is the use for my earn money? Do I really need so much of money? All right, I'm passionate to work. I love doing social service. Yes, you are love doing social service, but think to and what extent. Please try to draw a line, right? So those are the things. I'm always sleeping till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock because I love sleeping till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning. That is called as you're literally being in the mode of ignorance. So you're losing essence of it. Try to make your body strong, health strong, because the more we sleep, the more the time we reach our 30s and 35s and 40s, we will have all sorts of pain with us. We'll have a back pain, this pain, that pain, no matter what. All the pains and all the sufferings we're going to get into life, right? Try to make use of it. Try to lead a austere life. We are not saying do sannyasa and go to the what you call forest. No, austere life means just like a sannyasi leads a austerity life, like waking up in the morning, right? And thinking about the Lord, taking a regular bath, right? Eating sattvic food, try, just give a try for a week's time, right? You people know more, or just Google it. You will see if you have eaten a vegetarian diet, how many hours does it take to digest. Tomorrow we will see that section. Don't worry, we are getting into it. Today is the 13th chapter, 14th chapter, 15th chapter. We will learn all those things, right? So you will understand all those topics tomorrow. So try to change your habits, your routines. If you're sleeping at 10 o'clock, try to change sleeping at. If you're sleeping at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, again try changing it earlier. This is a cycle of birth and death. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi. From a childhood we grow, finally we become a old age, a disease, and then we die. Again take a body. And we are in this cycle. We are making our plans to live long in this material world. So that's what is being explained in the 24th verse. One who understands this philosophy concerning material nature, the living entity, and the interaction of the modes of the nature is sure to attain liberation. He will not take birth here again, regardless of the present position. I'm sorry, I think I've been delaying a lot, so maybe giving an elaborative explanation. I'll try to cut short. Maybe I'll take another 6 to 8 minutes. I hope it's fine. In case you have an important engagement, you can disconnect here. Otherwise, we'll take maximum 6 to 8 minutes. So the cycle of birth and death, is there a way? How can we make this cycle of birth disappear? Very simple. True seer. Who's the true seer? Sammam sarveshu bhuteshu tishthatam parameshwaram vinashyatstvam ya pashyati sa pashyati. One who sees the super soul accompanying the individual soul in all bodies. We already saw this somewhere or the other. I hope you remember the term Pandita Samadarshina. If we are able to see a soul, that we have a soul, every living entity also has a soul, has a Paramatma within it. That will be the most beautiful part of it, that we will be able to live in peace and harmony. Who understands that neither the soul nor the super soul within the destructible body is ever destroyed, actually sees. If we understand this particular tattva, that the soul nor the super soul never gets destroyed, and every living entity is also has a soul and a super soul, that that particular person is the true seer of the nature and the enjoyer and the consciousness which we are talking about. And again, in this particular verses, the Lord is trying to give the Jnana Chakshu. The first verse, which is the 33rd verse, it talks about the sky, due to its subtle nature, does not mix with anything, although it is all pervading. If we see, the sky is engulfed. We see at the top layer that is totally engulfed and it is all pervading. Throughout it is there. Similarly, the soul is situated in Brahman, right? Brahman is, we are also called as Brahman in the Brahman vision, but it does not mix with the body. Though it is situated in the body, the soul doesn't mix with the body. 1 by 10,000 of the tip, it doesn't mix with the body at all. It remains aloof. So as and when our body dies, as and when our life is over, the soul transmigrates to another body. That's what it's trying to explain with this particular analogy, right? O son of Bharata, as the sun alone illuminates all this universe, so does the living entity, one within the body, illuminate the entire body by consciousness. So our soul, the symptom of the soul is the consciousness. Because the soul is there within us, the soul is the one who's illuminating our entire body. So utilize our consciousness. The entire essence of this particular chapter is this, the Jnana Chakshu. Utilize our consciousness and utilize our activities towards our soul and our super soul. If we are able to connect with our soul and our super soul, we will be definitely able to live in peace and harmony in this material nature. So this is the Falashruti. What is a Falashruti? Kshetra kshetrajñorevam antaram jnana chakshusha bhuta prakriti moksham cha ye viduryanti te param. Those who see with eyes of knowledge the difference between the body and the knower of the body, and can also understand the process of liberation from bondage in material nature, attain to the supreme goal. That is the essence of this particular chapter. I'm sure this is self-explanatory. The only way for the process of our liberation is to connect with the Lord, follow the ABCD principles. If you're not following, let's start following the ABCD principles. With this, we are done with our today's chapter. Let's all chant together loud 3 times for everyone's safety and health. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so that was about Purusha, Prakriti and the consciousness. We saw about the Kshetram